Ray, for the last several years, room at the top of the heavyweight division dominated by just a few names: Tyson, Holyfield, Bo, Lennox Lewis. Not too many chances for others to break the logjam at the top. Do you get a sense that boxing fans are hungry for new faces in the division?
Very much so, Jim. I think fight fans, they want to see those fresh faces. They want to see guys develop and grow and eventually become world champions. I think what we have here tonight, some exciting personalities, distinct styles, and all they have to do tonight is prove they should be up there with the big boys.
All right, well, we'll take a look at the first of our two main events with the fighters already in the ring, and you're going to look at unbeaten Hasim Rahman, who's one of the hardest punching of the heavyweight hopefuls, and he goes against Obed Sullivan, the former fighting Marine who took up the sport a little bit late. And Sullivan, as you'll see, needs to make an impression right away because he's already 29 years old at 24. Rahman is the youngest of the four fighters on the card tonight. A 5-inch or a 5-pound weight advantage for Rahman and a 2-inch reach advantage for Hasim Rahman thought that he would be fighting George Foreman later this month. It was originally scheduled that way, but then Foreman decided that he would prefer to fight Shannon Briggs, and Rahman got this shot as a consolation prize. Speaking of consolation, rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Obed Sullivan Hasim Rahman fight is scheduled for 12 rounds. There is no standing gate count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
All right, Harold, and we've mentioned this is the first time that boxing has ever taken place here at the Apollo, so the ring is rigged in an unusual position right at stage level. That may be one of the reasons why earlier this evening we saw an unusual scene as first Hasim Rahman at 7 minutes after 9:30 stepped into the ring in front of what was already a fairly full house here at the Apollo and walked around it like a golfer checking the greens. And then 7 minutes later, Sullivan stepped into the ring and did exactly the same thing. As we said, we don't think we've ever seen a fighter do this, much less two fighters in preparation for their bout. Now let's go into the ring and ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the legendary Apollo Theater here in Harlem, New York, where tonight Cedric Kushner Promotions, in association with your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, this Bud's for you, present heavyweight boxing for your entertainment. These bouts are sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission Chairman, former Olympic champion, former 2-time world heavyweight champion Floyd Patterson, First Executive Director Tony Russo, Deputy Commissioners Mike Pascali and Mark Kornstein, Chief Physician at ringside Dr. Billy Lathan, ringside physicians Dr. Rufus Sadler and Dr. Richard Weinstein, timekeeper is Jim Borzell, alternate referee Harold Smith, counting for the knockdown seconds. This first contest is also sanctioned by the IBF and USBA President Robert W. Lee. Supervisors for the IBF USBA will be Darrell Peebles and Al Lucas. The 3 judges scoring the bout on a 10-point must system will be Mike Gliena, Steve Weisfeld, and Barry Yates. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, your referee, Wayne Kelly. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 12 rounds of boxing for the unified IBF Continental and USBA Heavyweight Championships. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black with gold letters and weighing 230 pounds. He brings a professional record of a perfect 23 consecutive victories without a loss into the ring, 20 by knockout. From Baltimore, Maryland, here is the IBF #7 heavyweight in the world, the undefeated USBA heavyweight champion, Hasim the Rock Rahman. And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing gold trimmed with red and weighing 225 pounds. His professional record also an outstanding 28 victories, 19 by knockout with only 1 defeat and 1 draw, and he is ranked number 4 in the world by the IBF. Ladies and gentlemen, from Gulfport, Mississippi, here is the IBF Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Obed Sullivan.
We're boxing for the USBA Heavyweight Championship. I expect a clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Shake hands, come out boxing at the bell. Good luck, 12 rounds. Touch him up.
Jim, a lot of future stars first gained notice in show business on this stage.
Come on, come on.
If there's any heavyweight here tonight who could make a similar leap, it's Rahman. He's fighting a much more experienced fighter. Let's see if he's up to it.
Ray Leonard, Obed Sullivan is bone dry in the upper body. Is that a danger sign early for him?
Well, I noticed that. Wasn't too much perspiration on Sullivan. It appears to me that Rahman really warmed up in the back. You know, he's sweating very profusely, and he seems to be a lot more relaxed than Sullivan.
Sullivan snaps an effective jab, though, as both fighters work behind the jab at the beginning of round number 1. Rahman generally regarded as the bigger puncher of the two. Sullivan is regarded, particularly by his own trainer, Chuck McGregor, as an outstanding defender.
Sullivan claims he's worked on upper body movement, moving his head a lot more instead of being a stationary target.
Jabs for the first minute of round 1, and Rahman moving forward, maybe developing a little bit more confidence early in the bout than is Obed Sullivan.
Both fighters have pretty decent jabs, in fact pretty strong left jabs, and what they need to do is just use it a lot more. That too would help them loosen up some.
Rahman told us that he wants to work on relaxing more. Thinks that his power punches will be more effective as he's able to let them flow more naturally. Fight has taken place in the center of the ring so far. Neither man's been anywhere near the ropes.
You know, Jim, that's been a problem of Rahman. You know, he's so strong, and he's knocked most guys out. And if a guy doesn't have a decent punch, he tends to get somewhat lackadaisical and lazy in there and take some unnecessary punishment.
Rahman's corner includes Don Turner and Tommy Brooks, the same two guys who work with heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield. So if any of these prospects has a chance to learn a lot in the next couple of years, it's Hasim with his outstanding corner.
With Tommy Brooks in his corner, Tommy Brooks, who works with Evander Holyfield, he's been around the block a number of times, and if there's anyone that can teach a student some corners, or give a student some pointers, is Tommy Brooks.
Rahman, the first in the fight to land an effective power punch, and he begins to target the body of Obed Sullivan. It'll be interesting to see which man can begin to vary his attack after what has amounted to a battle of jabs in round number 1. But in the last minute of the round, Hasim Rahman began to make his power punches more effective against Sullivan.
Huh? You want air? Oh, yeah, hold it.
No, let go. Even in?
Got a little neck over here. Where? Check this out. Look. Look, when you get a hit on, look, when you get to the inside, rock. Listen up, rock. Listen up. When you get to the inside, you got to go with both hands, okay? Stop head hunting. Start in the body, just like we talked about, okay? All right, start in the body. The head will open itself up, but you got to start in the body.
Okay? Keep your hand up a little bit this round and relax.
Deep breath, deep breath.
When he throws the double jab, and if he don't hit you with both of them when you're moving, step right up and touch it with the jab and that relaxed straight right hand. And also look at the jab.
I'm wondering, guys, if Rahman doesn't have some kind of a nick over his eye, the way they were treating it. I didn't see any blood. Let's watch it here.
The right side of his face has been subjected to literally hundreds of stitches, but that's the result of a near-fatal automobile accident, actually a truck accident, that Rahman survived years ago before he ever took up the sport of boxing.
500 stitches if we're counting.
There was some very good instructions from Rahman's corner by Tommy Brooks, indicating him to work the body, because that's what happens with a lot of young fighters. They tend to go to the head too much and forget about the body shots.
And from the truck, producer David Harmon informs us that Rahman's handlers did mention to him between rounds that he might have a nick over his left eye. That's the eye that Larry was referring to, not the eye on the side where the hundreds of stitches from the automobile accident were. Sullivan landed 11 of 23 jabs in round 1. Rahman threw twice as many, and Rahman begins to make his power felt in round 2.
Break! Come on, no holding in there. Hold no holding.
Hard right hand by Hasim Rahman.
Hello, sir. Both of you guys keep him up. Let's go.
You heard Obed Sullivan call the referee sir.
Every bit
the ex-Marine. Every bit the ex-Marine.
Yeah, and a much more disciplined fighter as well.
You notice that Sullivan is keeping that left hand down, whether or not he's trying to style or whatever.
No holding.
But what's going to happen, what has been happening, the right hand of Rahman will eventually get through.
Come on, keep it clean.
Left hook inside by Obed Sullivan as Rahman spread his hands apart coming in. Sullivan took advantage.
Let him go. Let him go.
More and more it looks as though Wayne Kelly's going to have a busy evening trying to keep these two big men apart.
All right, break! Let him go. Let him go. Break!
Body shots from both fighters. Rahman trying to double up. Quick left hook inside by Hasim Rahman to punctuate his attack in round number 2.
Nice and relaxed. All right? Deep breaths. Nice and relaxed. Okay. Deep breath. Come on. Relax. Relax. Give me a deep breath. Give me a relax. All right? You're fine. What you need to do now is pick up your jabs, but put them in quick doubles and step to him. When he jabs, you can come right over his jab with the straight right hand. When he jabs, you can slip the hook to your left and hit him with a hook.
Put in the gym, okay? You need some water. There we go.
Rahman throwing the right over the low left, as Ray pointed out. Rahman is fighting a more disciplined fight than he has in the past. That's the plan. He's got some things you can't teach, Ray. He's got youth, he's got strength, and he's got a lot of will.
He appears to be quite patient, he's taking his time, he's very composed. He's really working his left jab.
Saw the CompuBox numbers between rounds that indicated Rahman has thrown more than twice as many punches as Sullivan. Sullivan well aware that when he takes the risk of extending punches, Rahman is trying to counter over or under and often coming back with 2 shots rather than just 1.
Both of these fighters attended junior college for a semester or 2. Rahman's father is a computer engineer, a brother in medical school. Both bright, quick-witted young men.
I would think that inside it's more so to Rahman's favor because his punches are a lot shorter and a lot crispier, whereas that Sullivan's better on the outside.
Well, in addition to that, there's only a 5-pound weight difference, but Rahman looks up close by far the stronger man. So it's hard to see any benefit for Sullivan in leaning in close quarters against Hasim.
Exactly, Jim, because you notice when he's outside, using his height and his reach, he outpoints Rahman a lot better.
Rahman able to get off 2 shots inside there. Obed Sullivan trying to protect himself and not throwing much when they're inside. Sullivan needs to back away, try to work behind the jab and create space between himself and Hasim Rahman.
This is a pretty fast pace for these guys, too, for heavyweights. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Rahman tires.
You know, my guess, Ray, is that Sullivan feels a little safer at close quarters because he's been getting hit with hard punches just like that when they're at a distance.
But I think you're right too, Larry. But I would think that his corner would tell him to back away and to use that height and reach advantage.
Let him go. Stop punching.
Much of the 3rd round being fought at close quarters. There's a left-right 1-2 by Rahman that wobbles Sullivan as the seconds tick away in the 3rd.
And there's a cut to the left eye of Sullivan.
Yep. Good call, Ray Leonard.
Okay, now, don't get excited. Don't get excited. You got the guy on the roll. We gotta stay big. We gotta stay with our business now, okay? Straight 1-2, just basic stuff, Rock, okay? You're stepping up nice with that jab, son. That's what you gotta do, okay? Don't get crazy on us now. Basic fundamentals, son, okay?
And still to come tonight, second of our 2 main events, featuring New York's own Lou Savarese. Split decision loser earlier this year against George Foreman in a fight that Savarese and his manager trainer Tommy Gallagher are convinced they should have won against the former David Izonrite, now fighting to Larry Merchant's great glee as David Izon.
Just when I had his name almost nailed. Tommy Brooks told Rahman not to go crazy. Frankly, I'd like to see him get a little crazy once in a while during the round.
I think what he needs to do, Larry, is to remain aggressive because that last round, he really rocked Sullivan with that overhand right.
Many people in the boxing world felt that Sullivan would win this fight because of his experience, because Rahman is a cruder fighter. But it's the kind of fight the young, strong guy will assert himself in if he's got the real stuff.
And the way he's firing the jab and moving behind it, taking advantage of Sullivan at close quarters, landing right hands over the top. He's got everything going his way at this stage of the fight.
He definitely does. In fact, he's very relaxed. If you notice the way he's approaching his fight, Rahman is extremely loose, very confident, very confident.
Sullivan able to step in and land a left hook as Rahman was coming toward him, but there have been too few of those moments for Obed Sullivan.
Ray, do you see why George Foreman would have pulled out of his scheduled fight with Rahman and taken Shannon Briggs instead? What do you see in Rahman that would concern Big George?
Well, Rahman is very aggressive. He has a decent, pretty good left jab.
Right.
And I think that he can prove to be a tough fight for anyone.
On the other hand, while we're covering Rahman with glory here in this 10-round fight, you certainly can't overlook the possibility that Sullivan, with his greater experience and with his perhaps greater technical capability, could find a way to reverse things in the closing stages of the fight. if Rahman tires, and let me correct myself, 12-round fight, not a 10-round fight, so plenty of time left for Sullivan to get it going his way.
You need to see the execution of left jab by Rahman is so straight, so powerful. It knocks the head back of Sullivan. But I don't want to discount what Sullivan is trying to do, because it's a long way for the end of the 12th round.
Yep. This is a 12-round fight. Savarese versus Izon will be a 10-round fight. All heavyweights here on Boxing After Dark from the Apollo.
Let him go. Let him go. Come on, guys. Keep it clean. No holding. Both you guys.
Two good left hooks by Sullivan. One to the head, one to the body.
Sullivan starting to find more and more opportunities to sneak in that left hook.
Yeah, and just as we were singing the songs of Rahman, Sullivan had his best round.
Yep.
Relax. Give me your breathing. Get it up there. Deep breath, 3 count. Deep breath, 3 count. Okay. Now, we're going to make a move this round. Stay relaxed and walk at him. Walk in on defense, catching punches and slipping. I do not want that left hand down. I want it up at your side, because he's tying it up on the inside. Don't give it to him. I want it where you can step back and hook and step back and uppercut. Touch him quick. Don't let him grab you. If he grabs you, pull him. But turn
this though, okay? Back this guy up with that jab. Okay. He'll be right there for the right hand. Throw it straight, right down the pipe like we worked on in the gym, okay? Okay. When you're on the inside, start throwing that uppercut. From both sides,
Seconds out.
All right, champ. Let's go to work. I want to see it now, all right?
Let's go. Seconds out.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Great right hand lands for Sullivan after the triple jab. Sudden burst of energy for Obed Sullivan here as round 5 begins.
Harold Letterman through 4 rounds. How do you see the fight?
Well, Larry, I still got it a shot out.
Let him go.
40-36, 4 rounds to nothing. Hasim Rahman. In the first round, I thought he out-jabbed him, and after that, I think he's been out-fighting him. I mean, he takes him inside, and he's landing the cleaner, harder shots. And really, that's the way I'm seeing it so far. I think Ben Sullivan's got to do a heck of a lot more to win this fight.
I have it 3 rounds to 1 for Rahman.
Sullivan lands his left hook again. Rahman busts him in the face with a right hand and looks to score again over the top. Rahman has been the busier fighter, as Harold pointed out. He's landed more power shots. Both fighters at times have established their jabs and worked behind them, but in those moments when they're at close quarters and so much of the fight has been fought there, Rahman, with his greater strength, has been able to take advantage of Sullivan.
And what's happening here with Sullivan, the reason he's being hit by Rahman is the fact that he stops, he does nothing. And in the meantime, Rahman's throwing punches, throwing his right hand, throwing his left jab.
See some swelling around the left eye of Rahman, though.
It's very difficult to see it from here, Jim.
I think it is swelling just a little bit.
Come on, no holding. Keep it clean here. Come on, both you guys.
Sullivan is attempting to drop just one left hook, which is really a sign of inexperience. You never throw a left hook. Everything is thrown off the left jab. Unless you're close, I should say.
Guys, you're holding. Great.
Or unless you're countering against somebody who's left his right hand out there for you.
True.
Or unless you're Roy Jones.
That's an exception.
Body shots traded at close range.
Great. Step back.
As Wayne Kelly separates them, you begin to see the slight swelling over the left eye of Hasim Rahman.
Great.
Seconds left in round number 5, and again, we remind you it's a 12-round bout. As Wayne Kelly separated them there, Sullivan was looking obediently at cornerman McGregor. Tiger told him to keep working with the jab.
Okay, you're looking better. Good round. Deep breath. Okay. Look at me. This guy has nothing for you. At this point, you know what tells you? If you're not punching enough. Just relax and punch off your elbows and hips. Keep your knees down and your chin and zip. You're throwing one and stopping. Touch with one, zip the second one. Touch him on top and zip underneath. Touch him on top and zip the uppercut. He's there for the okay.
You got to go to work. You're saying okay, but you're not doing it. Go to work with that left hand and step up with it. You got me? Rock star.
Good job.
Hey, right here. Okay? Let's go to work. Okay? Come on, champ.
Little New York flavor. Brooklyn's own Spike Lee in the house. No Knicks here tonight. I wonder if Spike went on the road to Charlotte for the opener last night. Sullivan hopping Rahman's head back with the jab.
No holding. That's the way.
I mean, again, both guys have very stiff left jabs. In fact, Sullivan's left jab is starting to make the, this is the right eye.
It's the left eye.
The left eye.
Left eye, Rahman, yeah.
Start to swell now.
Would be a factor in the fight if it impaired Hasim Rahman's vision. Of course, at the distance from which they've been fighting for most of the fight, he doesn't have to see. He can feel his opponent.
If they're close enough, Jeff.
Right there.
Good right hand by
overhand right by Rahman, and Sullivan wobbled for the second time in the fight.
Now, this is when experience comes in. When you hurt your man, you should take the time and set your man up and not go wild and throw a lot of unnecessary punches.
What Turner and Brooks are looking for.
What Rahman should be doing now is working the body, throwing body shots, bring those hands down, then go to the head.
I don't understand why he's getting into these clinches, because he seems to be flinging himself into them. Right here. Why? If he hits him so well from outside, why does he want to be inside?
You know, sometimes this is when inexperience becomes a factor, Larry.
Let him go. Obed, let him go. Let him go, Obed. Break.
Kelly telling Obed to let him go. Rahman had his arm wrapped around the outside of Sullivan's. It wasn't that easy for Sullivan to get away. Slow spot in the fight follows the powerful overhand right by Rahman, which seemed to have done some damage. Sullivan bought enough time to get his wits back about it.
What's happening here with Rahman, he's a little arm weary because he missed quite a few punches.
Yeah, you don't get his arm weary from the ones you land, right?
Let him go.
Exactly. It's the ones you miss that really take a lot from you.
Break.
Another right hand landed inside for Rahman. On the jaw of Sullivan. Sullivan landed a little left hook of his own.
Seems to me the referee isn't breaking them up quickly enough.
Take care of the tape, please. Okay, good job. Good job.
Relax. You're pulling back and you're not punching. Okay. And you're pulling back with your head up, right? So you're getting hit. Stay to the side of him. Look at. You're going to let this guy wear you down by wrestling and putting his weight on you. What he's doing is he's grabbing you, deep breaths, and he's putting his weight on you.
And still to come tonight, the former David Izanrate, now David Izan, formerly of Nigeria, formerly of Paris, France, now fighting out of the Roy Jones camp in Pensacola, Florida. His opponent, New York's own Lou Savarese, the sushi-eating heavyweight who almost beat George Foreman earlier this year. That'll be the second of our two main events tonight on Boxing After Dark from Harlan's legendary Apollo Theater.
Put a little bit more speed on it. Put a little bit more speed on it.
Come on.
Obed Sullivan hasn't been busy enough. CompuBox numbers averaging only 35 punches per round, as opposed to Rahman, who's throwing closer to 60 punches a round. Halfway through the bout, as round 7 begins, and still Harold Letterman has it as a whitewash every round for Hasim Rahman.
Break.
Obed, watch the hold, okay?
Right hand lands for Sullivan over the top.
I would think there would be more uppercuts coming from Sullivan to raise the head. To raise the head up.
As a bad cut has sprung from Sullivan's left eye, it might have been caused by an accidental butt inside and during all that mauling.
Yeah, as he pulled away, Sullivan was telling referee Wayne Kelly, he butted me.
Step back.
Trying to make clear to Kelly that the cut is the result of an accidental butt.
What Sullivan has to do now that he's cut, he can't get desperate, he can't get angry. He has to stay composed and try to keep the blood out of his eye.
Well, as he would tell you, he's a Marine. Composure is his game.
Well, it's needed right now.
Put your head on back.
San Francisco Giants hat in the background is being worn by John McEnroe. McEnroe on the right side of your screen there, enjoying the heavyweight action behind artist Leroy Neiman.
When a fighter is cut, the last thing he should do is fight inside. He should be on the outside.
Left hook by Sullivan as Rahman steps in. Again, they engage at close range. Sullivan's going to have to go back to pumping the jab if he's going to have any chance of keeping Rahman off of him.
Break!
In many of the fights I've seen Rahman in, and I haven't seen a whole lot, he's been more of a brawler. And here you see him, he starts out jabbing, trying to be a boxer puncher, and then he comes in and does this. He's in transition from one style to another.
And I have not seen that much of Rahman either, Larry. And he looks pretty impressive here, though. He's throwing more punches. He's using his jab a lot more. And he's taking his time, which is very important.
And Sullivan is ranked by some of the boxing organizations.
Generally regarded as the top 10 fighter in the division is Obed Sullivan. Right now, Hasim Rahman is having his way with him. The blood coming from the cut above Sullivan's eye, obviously bothering Obed, and now cutman Jimmy Glenn will go to work in Sullivan's corner to try to keep his man in the fight.
Listen to me, relax. This is what you're doing. You're coming up in the air with your head because you're one punching. You're trying to hit too hard. Keep your left hand up. Jab your way in. Quick straight right hands on top of that first or second jab. You hear me?
I got you, Chuck.
Quick straight right hands, relax, no power. Relax speed, right to his chin, relax, dump the right hand and come back with the hook. You can win this fight and you're fine.
Well, you're saying okay, but we got the head of jab. Straight 1-2. Up top here.
Okay.
He keeps grabbing my neck.
It's an accidental headbutt, okay? You just do what you have to do. Seconds out.
But take a look and see where this headbutt occurred. Hard to tell from this overhead shot from up in the balcony here at the Apollo. But right now, Sullivan is starting to get himself between rock and a hard place.
Yeah, it looks as though Sullivan's head came forward in that replay and banged against Rahman's forehead. That's what caused the cut. It was the momentum of Sullivan's head coming forward, not of Rahman's head barging into his. Can Sullivan use the jab now to protect his eye? Well, he's only 34 for 81 on jabs through round 7, whereas Rahman has thrown twice as many. So Obed Sullivan needs to change the momentum of the fight, both tactically and emotionally, as he now fights from behind a bloody left eye.
All right, Harold Letterman, 7 rounds. How do you see it?
Jim, I still got it 7-0, 70-63, Hasim Rahman. Obed Sullivan's just got to stop grabbing and holding and start throwing some punches. I mean, it's just a mauling match. That's all it is. An awful lot of holding, awful lot of grabbing, and most of it's being done by Sullivan. He's just got to get busier to win this fight.
I have it 6 rounds to 1.
Let him go.
We may be seeing a changing of the guard in the lower echelons of the heavyweight division here. This stiff left jab from Rahman.
Or the middle echelon of the heavyweight.
Yeah, just below the top 3 or 4.
Yeah. Don't want to sell these guys short. Either one could conceivably become a contender for a heavyweight belt, but prerequisite number 1 is to win this fight. And right now, Rahman is the man who appears headed toward victory. Right hand to the chin of Sullivan. Rahman continues to try to put combinations together, and Obed Sullivan continues to exist mostly one punch at a time.
Well, that's what's been happening, Jim. The combinations, the 1-2 punch by Rahman has been getting through, and that's pretty much been doing the damage, the most damage.
That's why he's throwing so many more punches than Sullivan. It's not that he's launching that many more attacks, but he's laboring to throw combinations, and Sullivan too often contents himself with just a single blow. Uppercut landed inside for Rahman. You saw Sullivan's head snap back.
Come on, break.
And the blood begins to flow again from the eye of Obed Sullivan. Big job ahead for Jimmy Glenn in the corner.
Control to yourself and let your hands go. You're going to lose this fight if you don't turn your hands.
Both corners go to work. Greatest night ever for round card girls on Boxing After Dark, as Ivy Supersonic of the television show Ivy and the Groovy Gals brings the Groovy Gals along. This is Zubaida, a model, an actress, the Maybelline Shades of You Model of the Year. First time ever as a round card girl. Ladies and gentlemen, Zubaida on Boxing After Dark.
Take a D1 and let out slow. There we go.
A graduate of the Josephine Baker
School of Round Card Girl, yes.
Let's go to work on
Josephine Baker and her wardrobe appeared on this stage.
2 and 3. Ben, every time you get close to breaking him down, you let him back in the fight. You can do it. I'm telling you, you can do it. You're going to speed, bro.
Needing to up his punch count to defend his battered left eye, Obed Sullivan wasn't able to do it. Only threw 31 punches in the round. Again, Hasim Rahman with the greater punch output and more jabs. So far, Sullivan hasn't been able to do tactically what he must do to reverse the tides of fortune here.
Break. All right, break. Come on, no. Look. Both you guys. You both hold it. Keep it clean, all right? Come on, you're good fighters.
That's what they don't want Sullivan to do, to rely on one punch, a lead left hook or an overhand right. He needs to use that left jab a little more and get closer.
All right, break. Step back clean. Good.
Very calm performance by Hasim Rahman. Wears the same expression all the time. Very serious guy. And
you notice inside, Jim, Rahman, they tie up. Right. He's taking a breather.
greater strength when they tie up. He just backs Sullivan all over the ring. Takes him wherever he wants to take him.
You see the difference in strength. There's a great deal, that's a lot of upper body strength for Rahman.
Yep.
Up the middle, B. Up the middle.
That time Rahman backed into the ropes, and Sullivan got a chance to launch a couple of those inside left hooks, but no great damage. Rahman backs away and goes back to work.
When these guys exchange punches, when they're inside, anything can happen. Because fatigue is starting to set in with both fighters, and they're open for left hooks or right hands.
Time!
Okay. He's breaking down.
Tape again, please.
I got it. Relax, man. Okay. Two things. Listen, get his breathing on. Double jabs. Listen to me. Yeah. Don't pick the elbow up. Okay. Keep the elbow down. Single jab.
You come short with the right hand this time.
Excuse me.
You got to get close with your jab, then throw the right hand. Follow me? Okay, now. Okay, now this is very important, man. Very important, boss. Remember how hard you trained out down in Houston?
Yes, sir.
All right.
His head falls to your right. Bait and hook. And then other than that, quick jabs and right hands and fight. Real relaxed, breathing. 10th round, Benny. Real relaxed. He's breaking down, but you got to fight.
Okay, second down. Get that corner clean, please. Keep that water out of there.
Chuck McGregor insisting to Obed Sullivan.
Let him go, let him go.
He calls him Ben.
Let him go and step back. Let him go.
That Rahman is, quote, breaking down. Well, by CompuBox numbers, Sullivan did have his best round in the 9th, but Rahman opens the 10th with another left-right combination to the jaw of Obed Sullivan.
Break. Come on. A little more boxing, less pushing. Come on. Let him go. All right, step back. Watch your heads in there. Both you guys, watch your heads.
Break away.
Let him go.
By Sullivan. But by and large, just not enough space in the ring for Obed Sullivan to find a way to turn this around.
Look. Well, I'll tell you, the thing he should do,
Watch your
the only thing he can do at this point, because I think he's really tired, I think both fighters are a little fatigued, is go for the body, Jim, because the body doesn't move. Trying to hit that elusive head.
Let him go inside.
It's
Let
pretty
him
tough.
go.
Ray, who's holding?
Break.
They're both doing this. Both are guilty of that, and that's just from, I guess, from fatigue. And
but they've been doing it since the beginning of the fight.
Yeah, I also think, Ray, it's from really bad balance by Rahman. I mean, he throws the same punches over and over again, either a jab or a jab and a right hand, and then he falls forward. He's not standing. He doesn't. His legs are not in good position to do anything more.
right, yeah, I think you're absolutely right with that, Larry, because here, if you notice the stance of Sullivan, they spread too far apart, so he has no balance.
Well, and Tommy Brooks and Don Turner have criticized their own fighter, Hasim Rahman, for occasionally having his legs too wide apart, which goes with what Larry talked about, falling forward after he throws a combination.
Hold on. Keep him up. Come on, man.
to go. And November 18, Real Sports with Brian Gumbel returns. Among the stories we're working on, a poignant look at 3 NFL quarterbacks and how they cope with the life-threatening illnesses of their children, and a profile of Grant Hill, perhaps the image heir apparent to Air Jordan in the NBA. Real Sports, Brian Gumbel, Tuesday, November 18, 10 o'clock Eastern and Pacific time.
Rock. The jab, straight 1-2. That's all you need to finish this fight. Okay? Look, you gotta go. You gotta hit this guy anywhere now. Okay?
Here we see Rahman lunging in, landing a good right, a little chopping left, but he's in bad position to do anything more in a situation in which he had the advantage.
So both guys have something to learn about footwork.
Yeah, because again, as Larry indicated, when they punch, they fall into each other's chest. And that's why you see a lot of times, inadvertently, they have headbutts.
Tell me this, why is it that heavyweights are so much more prone to this than fighters in any other weight class?
As far as what the balance is concerned? Yeah. Well, normally, I mean, other than Muhammad Ali and Larry Holmes, maybe, boxers, heavyweights don't really move a lot.
Yep.
They're more stationary.
So it's just harder for a 230-pound guy to have great balance and control his feet than for a 160-pound fighter.
It's true. It takes a lot out of them. Ali was a special man.
A miracle.
A miracle.
Yeah, but we see George Foreman has good balance since his comeback.
George gained good balance when he came back. I mean, when George was a head champion back then, George had very bad balance.
Step back, step back.
Sullivan landing a 1-2 there, one of his better combinations, but unable to back Rahman up. Rahman simply plows forward and pushes Sullivan along with him. Right hand over the top by Rahman. Reduced to one punch at a time as he and Sullivan grapple for space again on the inside.
Now, here you see the exchange of punches by both fighters.
Break clean.
And the problem here, the problem always is the case with these guys, their legs, the stance is too wide apart, which gives them no balance. So what happens is they fall into each other.
And just to repeat your earlier point, it's obvious to anybody now, they're both exhausted.
All right, break.
Very much so.
Break. Watch your head. Watch pulling down. Come on, guys. Keep it clean. Keep it clean.
Quick left hook by Rahman, landed on Sullivan's jaw.
No. Both you guys, keep the fight clean, all right? Enough of this.
Big round for referee Wayne Kelly. Who's done his best to stay out of the action, and in doing so, may have allowed a little too much holding and hugging.
Time.
You can't fault a referee who wants to be disengaged.
Okay, you got 3 minutes. You hear me? You got 3 minutes. Don't relax and come up with your head. Work your way in behind a jab. What are you going to do?
Work my way in behind the jab.
And feints.
Okay.
Last round, we're going to touch.
When you punch, keep your head down and don't load up.
Can he keep up with a 30-second drill? Can't nobody keep up with a 30-second drill. But you got to be the one to push it out. Right? All right? Let me hear it. All right. I'm going to let you hear it now. We want it.
You know, this doesn't make any sense.
It's your call.
Okay.
It's right there. You have to hit him and keep on hitting him. Pull 3 of them, don't wrestle, and keep your head down and take your punches to him. Relax feet.
Hey, John. This, it seems to me, is the time for the corner to be telling Sullivan you better knock this guy out if you want to win the fight.
I touch him.
Maybe he was saying that in code by saying you got to hit him and keep hitting him. But he has to let him know that even a 10-7 round is not going to win this fight for him. Harold Letterman going into the 12th. How do you see it?
Larry, 108, 101, 9 rounds to 2. Hasim Rahman. Let me throw my 2 cents into this heavyweight thing you guys got going here. I don't think it's balanced. I think that heavyweights just get tired very easily. A lot of this fight's got to do with the referee. If you get in there and break him up quick, you keep the fight moving. You should have done that from the get-go, even though Wade's doing a nice job. They'll lay on each other all night long if you let them, because they're tired. They're carrying a lot of muscle around, and that's all they'll do is lay on each other.
Well, I noted earlier that he wasn't breaking up the clinches quickly enough. But while I was giving Rahman high marks for the first half of the fight, the second half of the fight, he's just used his strength and not his skill.
Well, and Harold, I must disagree with you. I used to be a boxer a long time ago, and it is balanced. These big guys don't have proper balance.
No reason they shouldn't be getting tired. Top heavyweights are like top fighters. They should be able to fight in the 11th and 12th rounds. We saw 48-year-old George Foreman win the 11th and 12th rounds against Lou Savary.
Because he was so much more relaxed and therefore preserved so much more of his stamina in the late rounds.
And he didn't get into big mauling.
Yep.
This mauling does tire fighters out.
No question. No question that in his second career, George has shown how to use his feet much better than in his first.
And I was stating earlier.
I heard you were still a boxer, Ray.
Somewhat. But also, as far as Sullivan's corner is concerned, they didn't tell him that he's really losing his fight. Or he's way behind.
Yeah. Yeah, you always have to wonder about that. Some trainers just don't ever want to give a negative signal to their fighters during the fight, but sometimes competitive reality dictates that you got to go ahead and say the truth. I know if I'm a fighter, I'd rather hear the truth.
Oh, for sure. Rahman feels very good about this last round.
A lot of fighters don't want to know the truth, right? Because then they'd have to open up and they would expose themselves.
Is that true? Tell me the truth.
Well, not in that sense of the term, but...
You know, I'm just afraid Sullivan has accepted defeat here.
Our fighter knows.
You know, he knows, and he just hasn't made the effort in the last 3 or 4 rounds.
And he takes one more right hand in the mouth as the fight comes to a close. Rahman with a gesture toward Obed Sullivan. Sullivan didn't seem terribly interested in paying mutual respect. Both fighters circled the ring with their hands in the air, or at least Rahman half circled it with his hands in the air and then said, hey, I'm going to put my hands down. I'm tired. Sullivan puts his back up. The Fighting Marine.
What Rahman showed us is that he is young, he is strong, he is eager, and he has lots to learn. Your final scorecard, Harold Letterman.
Larry, 117, 111, 9 rounds to 3. Hasim Rahman. I just think he outfought him the whole way. I mean, you know, the hardest fights to judge are fights where you got holders. I mean, they're impossible because guy lands one punch and grabs, the guy lands one punch and grabs, and you're trying to differentiate between who's landing the cleaner punches when they're not holding each other. So it's always difficult to judge a fight where you got a lot of holding going on. This fight, I thought clearly Hasim Rahman outpunched Obed Sullivan. I think he should get this decision easily.
Agreed.
Records coming in. Hasim Rahman was 23-0 with 20 KOs, the only unbeaten fighter on the card tonight. Sullivan came in at 28-1-1 with 19 KOs. And let's go to Michael Buffer now with the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this bout will be the unified IBF Intercontinental and USBA heavyweight champion. Here's the Budweiser scorecards. Barry Yates scores the bout 114 to 114. He has it even. Steve Weisfeld scores the bout 116 to 112. Mike Liana also scored about 116 to 112 for the winner by majority decision. And now unified champion Hasim the Rock Rahman.
Nothing. Get you something. Ray.
Well, a little bit of a nervous moment there at the beginning for Rahman as the first scorecard produced an even fight. But then two more scorecards in Rahman's favor and a majority decision for the Rock. And he's the one who will move forward toward greater heavyweight prominence. Let's take a look at final punch stat numbers in the fight, which will reflect the numerical dominance of Rahman as he throws 177 more punches, lands 88 more punches, and lands at a higher percentage than Sullivan, who just really wasn't ever able to get anything going. Now what you have to do is try to picture Rahman against some of the top heavyweights in the division, and the daunting prospect there for Rahman and his trainers Don Turner and Tommy Brooks, Ray Leonard, is he's big and he's strong, but it appears that he's got a whole lot to learn.
Oh yes, the inexperience did show, but one thing about Rahman, he was in there to win. He really was aggressive. He stayed on top of his opponent, and he looked okay.
And so Larry Merchant not going into the ring to do interviews after that fight. Your final comments on what you saw between Rahman and Sullivan?
Well, let's keep in mind that it was a step up for Rahman. He beat a tough fighter with a good record and a good reputation in boxing. But there's more work to be done. And just one thing on this hook. Can we use it on the judge who scored this fight a draw?
You can go use it on anybody you want. I'll tell you, we'll follow you with the camera. Have a blast. You've got a whole audience here. You're live at the Apollo Theater, Larry. May never be another opportunity like this. Earlier this evening,
12 straight fights.